Either directly or indirectly, this is the message that I was raised with growing up. Y'all know me, Miss Aisha, licensed therapist, 100% Gen X, Trent, New Jersey. I was raised with the narrative that life is harder for Black men, that they face discrimination that me as a Black woman, I don't face, that they are denied jobs, they are denied access to resources, they are denied loans, they are denied opportunities that I have as a Black woman because I'm not seen as threatening, right? And because of that, I need to lower the standard and lower the bar because I have to keep that reality of racism and discrimination in mind when I'm thinking about Black men. That's the message that I received. I'm only speaking for myself. Y'all let me know if you received that same message growing up.
Sign everything she said, go follow her. For a lot of Black women, this is definitely the narrative that we were fed growing up. It's hard out there for a Black man. Make sure you care for your Black man. Fix his plate first. Give him the big piece of chicken because life is hard. Don't call the police on a Black man. Don't snitch on a Black man. You gotta protect the Black man. But how many of us grew up knowing that actually the world is harder for us? And we're the most disrespected demographic people in the world, Black women. And even more so, we learned that Black men were a part of the disrespect.
I see brightness in my future, baby.
Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So this one I'm holding, so if it's a little shaky, forgive me. I've been just wanting to do videos and just doing the most, so that's why it takes me so long to put them up, because I want to do it all perfectly and blah 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 blah. But here we are. Forget about perfection, let's just chat. How you do? It's been so long since I've talked to you guys, since I've done a video, since I've just, you know, sat around and talked to y'all. And there's a reason for that. Like being learning to become a social worker, they tell you about confidentiality and all the things that you say, and you have to be careful about, you know, your perspectives and all this other stuff. So it makes you a little bit nervous to really want to put out a video, but I still have things that I want to say, so I'm gonna go for it. So recently this clip has been, you know, circulating where Tyler Perry is telling women that they need to settle for a light bill. Larry,
if that man works, you know, at whatever job and is a good man and is good to you and honors the house and honors his wife and does what he can because his gift may not be your gift.
exactly.
That is okay. That's not somebody who's beneath you.
Yeah.
That's somebody who came to love you at your worth, right?
Yes.
And as long as he's secure in himself to know that, yep, she makes most of the money, all I can pay is the light bill. As long as she's comfortable enough to say, I'm going to cover the mortgage and all the other stuff, you handle the light bill, baby, you can take me to dinner every now and then. That is fine.
If he can just pay a light bill, then he should be okay. And I wanted to talk about, you know, what the consequences are of being a pick-me, because I have been one in my past life. I've been the type of woman that would, you know, be male-centered and be very dependent on the attention that I got from men. And what I've learned in my experience is that it never pans out. It never works, you know. I've been the woman who allowed somebody to tell me that when I wanted to have a nose ring, I wanted to get a nose ring so badly in my teens. And a boyfriend I was talking to said, nah, your nose is too wide. It wouldn't look good. And you know, I never got the damn nose ring. And I should have done it because I have the freaking nose for it. So that's the kind of stuff I mean, like even to the point where I was I allowed, you know, my ex-husband to cut me out of my home and all this other stuff. These are the things that happen when you just don't have the luxury of self-confidence, which is something that we should really talk about, especially as Black women, and you know, the way we were raised. And a lot of us have survived things, gone through trauma, actual, you know, luxury to stop and heal. We just survived and we just kept moving. So I think a lot of that plays into, you know, where we get the confidence or the lack thereof to not be a pick-me and to be able to pick ourselves and to believe in ourselves and to know that it's okay to just, you know, survive without a man. Staying with, you know, without a relationship for many years. And I would say that, you know, I learned a lot of, there's a bee. I learned a lot of lessons. Get off. Yeah. All right. Fucking bee. But yeah, I learned a lot of lessons from, you know, being a pick-me and allowing men to dictate the progression of my life. It started with my dad. I really loved my dad as a kid, and I remember that he would always be sweet to me when he thought I could be useful. Okay, so my storage keeps dying. I don't know. I have the iCloud backup, but for some reason it's just not working. As you can see, the garden is in like the last stages. It's just dying out now. Anyway, so what was I saying? Yeah, so I have been in the position where I was a pick-me. I grew up with my dad, who I really loved him, but he was not the kind of father that really respected and honored women. You know, he was like, there were times then he would come to me with all this charisma, his beautiful smile, and then it was always something for me to be useful or for something to do with what he wanted from me. So I learned early that if I can be useful, especially with my brain, then I can be, you know, useful to men. And so every relationship that I went into, I went with my big brain, you know, and I would be able to be useful to them. I would build businessmen, doctors, and then putting myself aside, I was just a stay-at-home mom who was homeschooling. So I wasn't growing in any of my relationships, but I was making sure that everybody was growing. I also was the kind of woman who would slide the card under the table to make sure that the man wasn't embarrassed, that kind of stuff. I was great at putting things on social media to make it look like everything was fine while I was working as a single mom, as a married woman. I was always reliable, but I was always the one who had to be responsible for the children, the housework, all the free labor. The bee is back. What is this day? And all this other stuff. So that's the reality. Okay, bee, cool. I'm not cutting this out. I swear. I gotta go to sushi with my kid for his birthday. We're not cutting anything out, okay? I was so mad I spit. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, so I was always responsible for the kids, the housework, and all the unpaid labor. And I was never honored or cherished for it. Like, I helped a guy get his residency in, you know, the medical field, and he promptly dropped me because I was his side piece. I found out later that I was a side piece. So I knew I had to stop being in these relationships until I healed my inner child. I said to him, why couldn't you have just picked me? Can you imagine? Why couldn't you have picked me? It didn't. Clearly, it's the bee. It's just the freaking bee. And so, of course, he was going to get rid of me. It doesn't matter what I did. There was nothing I could do enough to keep him there or to keep my ex-husband or make him better or do better with the kids or anything like that. I set up the precedent that I was going to be responsible for things and I was going to be good with my brain, and like, you don't even have to desire me for my body. You just gotta use my brain. Get your come up and move on. So I hear what you know, people like Steve Harvey and Tyler Perry, I hear what they're saying, but it's dangerous to tell women these things, because the man who can only pay the light bill, he's not working hard enough, because he should be able to at least, you know, pay for the things that he needs as a single adult. if he's coming into your life, if a man is coming into your life, he's supposed to add to it, or at least just be an extension of who you are, not to add to your problems, not to take away from your children or from whatever it is that you want to provide for yourself. So I think it's really detrimental for them to say things like that, you know, like, oh yeah, if a guy can only pay the light bill, it's okay, you know, shack up with him anyway. And all right, I'm gonna speed through this part because this thing keeps shutting off because I don't have enough storage. But yeah, it doesn't help a woman to settle for a man who's not willing to elevate himself, or for him to, you know, get enough education or resources or whatever he needs to just survive. Because if you were to have a family with that man and you were the one who were to go out first, then what's going to happen to your family? Additionally, men don't settle for women that they don't want. If you're ugly, or as what they deem as fat or unattractive or uneducated or whatever it is that their standards and boundaries are, they're not going to settle for you. So we should stop settling. I settled, and still I ended up feeling like the ugly, weird one in the relationship. So there's no point in us trying to build people. Build yourself. Take the time to nurture and heal your inner child, and then you will attract the right kind of partner. Otherwise, you don't have any business being in a relationship, because you're broken and sharp and you're going to be cutting people up. You know, the reason I came out of dating is because I realized that I was still weak, and I was bitter. I was resentful, because I felt like, you know, I was only useful to men to build them, and then they would drop me. And so with that kind of mindset, I clearly couldn't trust anyone. So what would be the point of going into another relationship to just cause problem for somebody else? Sometimes we as women need to sit and think about where we are in our healing journey and what we really need from ourselves. And, you know, if we do that and we can find ourselves and dictate what we want from ourselves, then we can dictate what we want from others. And it will be easier, you know. I remember, again, trying to do the friends with benefit thing and being stealth on, and the guy telling me that I'm the kind of woman, because he saw the weakness in me, that he would baby trap if I hadn't have my tubes tied. So I can appreciate people who want black love and the struggle love and all this other stuff, and they think that this is the only way because they haven't healed. If you heal your inner child, if you work on healing your inner child, then you'll stop attracting the kind of men or the kind of situations that would want for you to sacrifice everything and become a maid or become a purse. Because men will marry the maid, but they won't love them. They always have their preferences, and you have to have your preferences too and know what you're worth. And if you don't do the work, after all is said and done, you're just going to keep repeating the same cycles. So it is detrimental to be a pick-me, and it's also very detrimental what Tyler Perry is telling women, that they should settle for these kind of men. Don't settle for men. Don't settle for anything in your life. Take the time to work on what you need to work on so that you can attract what you actually want. You're not going to die if you don't have sex. You won't. You're not going to die if you don't have companionship. Sure, we all need social connections, but we need elevating and evolving social connections that are going to make us better. Things that show us that we are cherished and we're worth living for, or if that's what you want. But ultimately, we don't need to settle. We don't. And I think it's kind of sad that men are okay with this narrative that this is all they can do or that they can manage, and that we should settle for them. Should they not be competing and trying to better themselves and evolving and making sure that they're getting education and you know, in the running with the women who are saying, you know what, we don't want the people who are going to be dependent on us or expect us to, you know, take care of them or mother them or any of this. It feels like everything's backwards, and we're just moving the goalposts to incorporate just slackness, honestly. Anyway, chime in and tell me what you think about what Tyler Perry had to say. And at the end of this video, I'm going to put a video that I found online about a situation with a light bill Larry and how it turns out. And he happens to be Muhammad Ali's son, and he got into some riches recently, and he just walked away and left his family, while before he was doing nothing. He wasn't providing. The woman was the main provider, and he wasn't protecting, and now he's walked away from his entire family that he's come into some inheritance. So are we really winning when we settle? I don't think so. But you guys chime in and let me know. I know a lot of people don't want to claim that they were pick-me's. I was. I'm a recovering pick-me, and I own it. But I'm better now. All right, well, this is the video, guys. I'm gonna run off of here because this phone not trying to be great. But all right, friends, you know how the thing go. You know, take it easy, be good, be blessed, be balanced. At the very least, be loved. All right, walk good.
Muhammad Ali Jr. She says he ditched her, failing to return to their modest Chicago apartment.
I was totally heartbroken. I couldn't believe it.
Shakira and Muhammad Ali Jr. live in this apartment building on the south side of Chicago. She says in the 11 years they've been married that he's done only odd jobs, cutting grass or doing gardening for neighbors, and that she has been the primary breadwinner. And she says now she feels betrayed. You've been paying all the bills.
Yeah.
You think he might be a millionaire now and he's not here.
And that's what everybody's saying. He's a millionaire now, and now he wants to leave.
So much for standing by her man. So much for dealing with lid pocket light bill Larry. This proves my point, at least I believe. They're wishing for the resources. Did you not hear her say he's only done what? Odd jobs. Again, I read an article that said he allegedly had a substance abuse problem. Had a lot of issues. Jeepers, he only does odd jobs. That's why I guess he can only pay the light bill. And don't forget, the little apartment belongs to her family. So now the family got to help carry him too.
Luxury breathing, but I don't think I'm living. Yeah, my mama be tripping, saying you